Hi everyone, welcome to our next Teach It Right Tuesday update video. These will be the messages for the 9th of November. As always, there's a lot to cover and a lot of messages to give you, so we will make a prompt start. So just a reminder, this is our Teach It Right Tuesday update video for the 9th of November. And the first thing to talk to you about are some of the messages that have come out of our centres over the last couple of weeks. And one of the requests that we do have, please, is that when you do come and collect your child from the centres, please do leave your car, come out, and this gives you an opportunity, of course, to speak to the tutors if you wish to, or, of course, answer any questions that you may have. But also, I know the temptation for some of our students can be to run across the car park and go and meet you. So please do ensure that you are getting out of your car. This will hopefully avoid any accidents happening, and also make sure that we do keep all of our students safe in particularly the larger centres where those car parks can get quite busy. The other thing which has come out of the centres recently, and something that just we've noticed within our classes, is that sometimes children don't always have the necessary books that they need to bring along, and this may well be spelling books, it could well be the books that they need to work in. So we would ask, please, that children do double check before they come to class that they do have everything that is required. Certainly can be quite frustrating if things like spellings are done in other books, not in their spelling books. It does keep it nice and contained if they've got all the books for the sessions. Lastly, we do realise that there is an increase in COVID cases. We want to ensure that all of our children are kept as safe as possible, and certainly people not coming into the centres if they do show any symptoms. We would ask that children do carry out with you a lateral flow test before they come in, and this should be followed up, if positive, with a PCR test. So please do be vigilant. Please look out for any symptoms that your child may have, and just make sure that you keep as safe as you possibly can. Right, on to the next thing that we wanted to let you know about, and that is our top-up classes. Now, you may well be aware that Berkshire and Buckinghamshire actually run under two different exam boards, and GL assessment in Buckinghamshire and CEM in Berkshire. If you do live in somewhere like Maidenhead, for example, it may well be that you go for both the Slough Consortium and you also opt for schools in Buckinghamshire. Because they're not the same exam board, there are some variations, and these variations do need to be covered off. And what we've done over the last few years is we've included what we call top-up classes. And these will cover all the variations. These sessions are taught by qualified teachers, and it happens to be Navjot Bassi and Hilary Mail who will be focusing on those two different syllabuses. And we'll also be including things like supporting homework videos, and these sessions will run on a Sunday. And in the morning it will be a focus on the GL variations, and their sessions are an hour and a half in length, but we feel across two blocks, block A and B, and we would certainly recommend that your child does both, that they will be able to cover off all these differences. And it certainly is important, if a child is going into an exam, they want to be able to see the hopefully the question types they have been focusing on and practicing. So if you would like to book on these sessions, we do have a limited number of spaces, but these will start in January. And if you go onto our Teach It Right website, under the shop, you would be able to book on these top-up classes, both for CEM and GL assessment. If you have any questions or further questions about those top-up classes, then please do get in contact with us. But attached to the email with the video today, there will also be a flyer which will give more detail on those variations as well. We are getting quite close now to doing our next Zoom parent workshop, and we'll be focusing on non-verbal reasoning. On the 21st of November, it will be a focus on the GL question types, and that will run on Sunday, November the 21st, between 4 and 6 p.m. Please do book on that if you would wish to come, because we will be sending through a supporting booklet that will be very useful for you to use and also use in the session. So hopefully you can join me on the 21st of November. The following weekend, the following Sunday, 28th, we will also be doing a CEM non-verbal reasoning session as well. We know that Louise has been running our wonderful book club on a Sunday afternoon, and this week is no different. She'll be doing focusing on another Michael Walpurgo book called Not Bad for a Bad Lad. This is a less well-known book by Michael Walpurgo, but a wonderful children's book, and this is just a little short synopsis. Everyone thinks this lad is bad, so it's no surprise when he's sent to Borstal. But then he starts work in the prison stable, and something begins to change. An inspiring tale about what happens when someone is shown how to follow their dreams. Now, Louise will be focusing on this book in this session, but one of the things that we are going to include is a slightly greater focus on vocabulary, and we will be picking out words that children are reading from their books, but also potentially from the one that Louise has chosen to really help children develop and build their vocabulary. So if you've never come along to this book club, please do join Louise on a Sunday afternoon between 2:45 and 3:30. And as it says down in the bottom corner there, words have power, something that Louise talks about a lot, and she certainly will be building in some more vocabulary work within that wonderful session. So do come and join her. We will put a link as well into the email. Finally, just a reminder about our homework support club that runs on a Monday. I think there were some questions within the centres about timings. So the Year 4 session, they're both an hour long, 5:30 to 6:30. The Year 5 session, 6:30 to 7:30. And hope that your child can come along, ask questions about their homework, and it may just give them a nice set period of time to work through their tasks. And I know certainly within that session, Tahira Arshad will be adding in some vocabulary work into the homework club as well. Just a little snippet of vocabulary, because we just know how important that is. Right, moving on to our tip of the week. And remember last week we focused on addition. Well, this week we're going to look at the inverse. We're going to look at subtraction. And we've actually taken a snippet out of one of our new Collins books here. And this is just to talk a little bit about exchange and regroup as a method. Now, one of the things with subtraction is knowing what happens when, for example, you can't do part of it because one number is bigger or smaller. And it's all about borrowing and bringing numbers across, and sometimes it can get quite confusing. But certainly this method, which we're going to highlight here, is the one that we would expect children to use as a very efficient and quick method of subtraction. So just looking at it, we've got 605, 428. So when we're doing a subtraction sum like this, the first thing you'll notice in the units column is that it is not possible. So we need to go and borrow. But we've got a problem, because when we look in the tens column, you'll see that there's a 0. So what do we do in that instance? Well, we're going to need to go and borrow from the hundreds column. And what we would do is take 10 tens. We're going to put 9 of the tens there. And then we're going to put 1 of the tens next to the 5. Now this becomes possible. So we've got 15 subtract 8, we know gives us 7. We've got 90 against 20 gives us 70. 500 take away 400 gives us 100. Now that's a very, very quick method, hopefully a method that the children would understand. There is also another way of approaching subtraction, and that's actually by using addition. And we call this counting up. And I'm just going to show you up here how this possibly could be done with a counting up method. Now, we know that children often prefer doing addition to subtraction. So the way that this method works is we're going to be adding up from 428 until we get to 605. And the fewer steps that you manage to do this in, the better. But we're just going to make it quite simple to understand first of all. So we're going to be adding a 2 on, and that will get us 430. Remember, we're trying to get to 605. And I'm going to keep a running record of the numbers that I've got here. I'm then going to add a 70 on, because I work much better in multiples of 10 or 100. And I'm then going to get to 500. I'm very nearly there now. And then I'm going to add 105. Now that means I'm actually at my total of 605. It only took me 3 steps. And if I add up the numbers that I've got, I then arrive at my answer. Now that is a method often shown in schools. It is obviously slightly longer than the exchange and regroup method that we looked at first of all, but certainly is a very efficient method to use, and certainly a good way if children do prefer using addition rather than subtraction. Right, moving on to our resource feature this week, and we're looking at Mary Farquhar's 11+ verbal reasoning vocabulary resources. You may well have received a flyer from us recently about Mary's cards. These are well renowned within the 11 plus market. They are fantastic for building vocabulary around synonyms, antonyms, and certainly one that we would highly recommend. Mary has had her own children go through the 11 plus successfully, and over the years has been gathering lots of words that have come out of 11 plus exams, independent school exams, and has created a product which is fantastic to use as a revision aid, but certainly to help children build up their vocabulary across a period of time. And they come with very clear definitions. They are also colour coded according to the types of words that they are, and she's developed a huge bank of flashcards that can be used for the 11 plus. Would certainly recommend visiting the Vocabulary Flashcards website, because on there are free downloadable worksheets as well to use, and these certainly are great to add to your bundle of 11 plus materials to help children develop their vocabulary. So, as I say, we will be giving out flyers to all of our parents, so if you haven't received them yet, please do look out for them, because certainly Mary has put together a wonderful resource for the 11 plus, certainly in regards to vocabulary. And just finally, some reminders of dates. So Louise's book club on the 14th of November, and as we highlighted in this video, there will be a greater focus on vocabulary within that session as well. So do join Louise on Sunday between 2:45 to 3:30. Homework club, please do delve into that every Monday as well. And our 2 dates for our next parent workshops via Zoom. We have our GL1 on the 21st, CEM1 on the 28th of November. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you found it useful and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.